specializes in technical analysis, strategy development, and trader education, helping traders build confidence through structured analysis, backtesting, and disciplined execution. We are honored to have her share her knowledge and insight with us today. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Ms. Gail Madrilejos.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you to the Society of Technical Analysts for the invitation. So it's an honor to share this afternoon with fellow traders and analysts. So today, we'll talk about something many traders underestimate. So let me share my presentation. All right. Most traders ask how to build a profitable strategy. Uh, When we are starting, ito talaga yung question natin. Paano ko ba mahahanap yung isang strategy na profitable? Most of us, hinahanap natin yung holy grail, yung perfect combination ng mga indicators. But hinahanap din natin yung merong 100% win rate, although wala naman nun. But I believe there's a better question. How do we know how do we know that a profitable backtest can actually survive the real market? Because if you've been trading long enough, you've probably experienced this. You spent hours building a strategy, you backtested hundreds of trades, the numbers look amazing, so confident ka na to go live, then you go live. So in-apply mo na yung iyong backtesting sa live market. And suddenly, anong nangyari? The performance changes. So today, we'll explore how that happens and how forward testing bridges the gap. So welcome sa ating discussion for this afternoon entitled Beyond the Backtest, Bridging Theory and Reality through Forward Testing. So my name is Gail Madrilejo, CTA. So here's our roadmap for this afternoon. We'll begin by discussing why backtesting is still incredibly valuable. Then we'll look at its limitations. And then after that, we'll introduce forward testing. We'll compare the two approaches, backtesting versus forward testing. And finally, I'll share a practical validation workflow that I personally use before trusting any trading strategy. So I'd like to make this interactive. Quick poll lang. Pwede nyong i-type sa chat box yung inyong answer. So how many of you here, no, pa-type na lang ng me if you backtested a strategy? Meron ba sa ating nag-backtest dito ng strategy? Me, ayan, may nakikita ko sa chat box. Yeah, maraming nag-backtest na dito. Yes, ayan. Thank you for that. Yes, SMC. Oh, wow. And now, the next question is, you've actually traded that strategy live. Yung binacktest mo, in-apply mo siya sa live market. Meron ba sa atin nun? Nag-test and then diretso apply sa live market. Meron ba? Wala? Wow. Yun, me. Yes, kaso po 50-50. 50-50 ang win rate, Sir Mark. Yun. Ginawa ko rin yan ng newbie ako. Ayan, yes, thank you for that. And last question, your live results match backtest almost perfectly. Halos parehong-pareho yung result ng backtesting mo sa live. Meron ba sa atin nun? Or napansin nyo na meron gap? Not at first, almost. Yes, nice. Very few, no? Very few yung, yes, parang hindi. Very few yung merong exactly the same yung result ng backtesting and yung sa live trade. That's exactly why we're here today. So backtesting is not the problem. The problem is assuming that backtesting alone is enough. Ayun, thank you sa mga nag-respond sa ating chat box. So, why we backtest? Bakit nga ba tayo nagba-backtest? And ano yung importance ng backtesting sa ating mga traders? So, backtesting serves several important purposes. First, it validates whether an idea has historical merit. So, instead of relying on intuition, we're using evidence. Kasi gusto nating i-prove kung yung system or kung yung strategy na na-create natin ay pag in-apply natin sa historical data, magkakaroon ba tayo dito ng gains or hindi siya profitable? Second, it helps us estimate expectancy. What do you mean by that? So, may mga traders, no, kaya natin sila ina-encourage na mag-backtest based din sa aking experience sa coaching. Ina-encourage natin silang mag-backtest para pag na-experience natin, na-experience nila sa live trade yung sunod-sunod na talo, hindi sila mag-worry or hindi nila i-doubt yung strategy nila. Bakit? Kasi sa backtesting pa lang, nakita na nila kung ilan yung losing streak na pwedeng ma-experience ng kanilang strategy na tinitest. So kung nangyari yon sa live count, sa live trade, hindi na sila magda-doubt. No? So yung calculation ng expectancy. And third, it lets us compare multiple strategies objectively. Meron ba dito sa ating nang nalaman yung trading, talagang gigil na aralin yung trading? Excited tayo. Iba-iba yung strategy na nakikita natin. Nag-YouTube University tayo, naghahanap tayo ng iba't ibang sources and yung result, marami tayong nakikitang strategy. And before natin siya i-apply sa live market, kailangan natin siyang i-test. No? Backtesting lets us compare multiple strategies objectively. And kung meron pa tayong different sets ng strategies, sabihin natin meron tayong 3, binacktest natin silang lahat. And pipili ka lang ng isa doon para yun yung kukunin mong strategy. No, maganda siyang gamitin for comparison kung ano strategy ba dito sa 3 ang may mataas na win rate. And lastly, it gives us an understanding of drawdowns and risk. So very crucial to, especially for those na nagpa-plan na mag-trade using prop firm. So without backtesting, we're simply guessing or namupula lang tayo. Backtesting transforms opinions into data, but there is an important distinction. Ano yung distinction yan? Backtesting validates an idea, but backtesting does not validate the trader. And that's where forward testing begins. Historical data is valuable, but it's still history. Every backtest makes several assumptions. So, ito yung nag-list down ako dito ng 4 assumptions ng backtesting. First, it assumes that market behavior remains sufficiently similar. Next is, it assumes execution remains consistent. Third, it assumes transaction costs remain acceptable. And perhaps ito yung biggest assumption for me, kaya ko siya hinuli, that we always follow our rules. Lagi ba natin talagang sinusunod yung rules natin? Yeah, most of the time, yes, 90-80%, pero may mga times na nagde-debate tayo sa ating trading rules. Because markets evolve, liquidity changes, volatility changes, and of course, yung participants din nagbabago. So, although history often rhymes, it rarely repeats itself perfectly. So here, nag-list down ako ng common limitations ng backtesting. So, this does not mean backtesting is flawed. It simply means it has boundaries. Some strengths, ito, past validation. Past validation kasi in a span of couple of weeks, no, kaya nating mag-backtest ng more than 100 entries or more than 100 data. Next is large sample sizes. Kaya nating mag-backtest or mag-test ng historical data, 3 years ago na data, 5 years ago, and objective statistics. Quantifies performance. And lastly, confidence in the edge. So ito yung isa sa mga magandang strength ng backtesting. Nagkakaroon tayo ng confidence dun sa ating strategy. But here are the limitations. Backtesting does not test psychology. Ito yung number one for me. It does not test psychology. It does not test hesitation. It does not test fear after 3 losses. It does not test greed after 5 wins. It also ignores execution issues. Ano-ano ba itong mga execution issues? First ay, of course, spread, slippage, latency, missed entries, and finally, it can easily encourage overfitting. Sometimes we unknowingly create strategies that fit history perfectly, but fail immediately in live markets. So this is where forward testing becomes essential. Forward testing means applying the strategy to live market conditions. And what's the key difference? The key difference, the outcome is unknown. You're no longer validating history. Sa forward testing, you're validating whether your process survives uncertainty. Kasi aminin natin, no, sa backtesting, pwede siyang madaya actually. Because there are different ways to backtest. And yung isa doon, one of the ways na alam ko ay through charting tools gaya ng TradingView. And yung iba doon is manual, di ba? Pwede siyang dayain. Pero dito kasi sa forward testing, hindi natin alam kung ano yung gagawin ng next candle. So that's a completely different challenge. Forward testing answers questions like, can I execute consistently? Can I manage emotions? Does my strategy still behave as expected today? So let's compare yung backtesting versus forward testing. Backtesting asks, did this work before? However, forward testing asks, does this still work? Backtesting validates the model or yung strategy, pero sa forward testing, it validates the model plus the trader. One operates in certainty, the backtesting, and the other operates in uncertainty. One measures historical performance while the other measures real-world performance. So both are essential, important naman and crucial yung backtesting and forward testing, and neither replaces the other. So from my experience, from my coaching and trading experience, I realized one thing. Strategies rarely fail because the rules are bad. Lahat naman ng strategy may edge sa market, and they usually fail because of 4 things. Ito yung 4 pillars. First is the market conditions. Markets transition, no? Minsan yung trending markets nagiging raging markets. High volatility becomes low volatility. Second is psychology. Psychology. Andyan yung fear, no? Lalo na pag sunod-sunod yung talo. Overconfidence. Na-experience to usually pag sunod-sunod naman yung panalo. Revenge trading. Yan, nasa losing streak. And FOMO. FOMO, pag wala tayong sariling trading plan and wala tayong sariling rules yan. And third ay yung execution. Sa execution naman, andyan yung late entries, premature exits, especially yung mga TP when happy. Narinig nyo na ba yung phrase na yon? TP when happy. Meron namang trading plan, meron namang naset na TP and SL, pero pag nakitang may konting gains na yung trade, i-close agad dahil happy na sila dun sa TP, sa PNL nakikita nila. And ignoring stop losses. Ayan, very risky to. Etong last, ignoring stop losses. So majority sa atin, nag-start tayo na hindi natin nire-respect si stop loss. Pero nang tumagal, ito rin yung na-realize ko na ang stop loss is our protection. Protection sa ating capital. And then, last pillar ay yung risk management. So many traders increase size too early. They refuse to reduce exposure during drawdowns. Wala silang risk management plan. So in other words, most life failures are not statistical. Ano yun? They are behavioral. Behavioral. So, I like thinking of strategy development as pyramid. Kung makikita niyo, meron tayo ditong pyramid na merong 4 layers and everything begins with an idea. Then comes backtesting. Then forward testing. Only after consistent forward performance should we consider scaling live capital. Kasi karamihan ng traders skip directly from backtesting to large position sizes. After ng backtesting, wala nang forward test. And sa forward testing, paano ba siya ini-execute, no? Forward testing, we can either use demo account, yung paper trading. We can use small live account before tayo mag-scale, or we can use prop firm account, yung maliliit lang na account. So kung ginawa natin yun and nag-skip tayo sa forward testing, that's like flight simulator today, commercial airline tomorrow. Ganun yung comparison niya. So forward testing is the bridge and hindi natin siya dapat skip. So here, this is the workflow I personally follow. First is market analysis. Next is strategy development. You develop the idea. Next, backtesting, followed by forward testing. Once na meron na tayong data from forward testing using small live account for demo trading, right? We journal those trades and then we review the journal. Very important as a trader na meron tayong journal and nire-review natin siya. Kasi most ng mga lesson na matututunan natin from the market ay galing sa ating journal. Next is refinement. After refinement, live execution, and then repeat. Notice something here. The process never ends. Validation is not a one-time activity. It's continuous because markets evolve. So our validation must evolve too. So what makes a strategy robust? So not a high win rate, not a spectacular returns. A robust strategy survives. It survives. It has, ayan, nag-list down ako dito ng common characteristics of robust strategy. So first, it has enough historical testing, followed by acceptable drawdowns. No? Yung strategy natin ay may acceptable drawdown. Of course, kasama sa strategy natin yung risk management. And then clear risk rules, very important. Next is consistent execution. And most importantly, it performs reasonably well across different market environments. So to summarize, robustness is about resilience. So practical forward testing checklist. Before increasing position size, we have to ask these 5 questions. First, have I tested this strategy under today's market conditions? Na-test ko ba tong strategy na to? Next question is, have I followed every rule consistently? Next, yan, ito na yung sa journaling. Have I documented every trade? The 4th question would be, do my results align reasonably with expectations? And the last one is, have I honestly reviewed my mistakes? Kung ang sagot natin sa any question dito is no, then don't scale. Mag-forward test lang tayo ng mag-forward test muna for the meantime. Because capital should reward consistency. And as a trader, isa sa mga job natin ay i-protect yung ating capital. So, ito yung practical checklist for forward testing. So, reflection. So, I'd like everyone to reflect for a moment. Where are you today? Nasaang phase na kayo or nasang state na tayo sa ating trading journey? Nasa learning phase ba tayo right now? Nasa building strategies or pino-form pa lang natin yung ating strategy? Or nasa backtesting na? Or maybe nasa forward testing na tayo? Nagtatry na tayo ng pumasok sa live market using small accounts? Or Are we already trading live or ready na tayong mag-scale? There's no wrong answer sa mga questions na to. But the important thing here is you know your current stage. Because every stage requires different mindset. If you remember only 4 things today, remember this. Backtesting validates ideas. Forward testing validates execution. As we mentioned earlier, forward testing, it validates the trader and the strategy. Robust strategies survive challenging markets, and confidence should come from evidence, not assumptions. For my final message, I'd like to leave you with one thought. Backtesting tells us what worked. Forward testing tells us what still works. But disciplined execution determines whether it works for us. Because technology can generate signals. Software can produce statistics, but only disciplined traders consistently execute their edge. Ultimately, our greatest edge is not the strategy. It's the consistency of the trader behind it. Because at the end of the day, uh, I know most of us would agree na ang goal natin is to be a consistently profitable trader. So that's it for my discussion, for my topic this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And I hope today's discussion provided a useful framework for thinking beyond historical performance and toward real-world validation. I'd be happy to hear your experiences as well. Let's open the floor for questions and discussion. Thank you. Ayan, may mga questions tayo sa ating chat box. What are the usual technical indicators do you use in your trades? Hello, Sir James. For my current strategy, technical indicators that I use, sometimes I use Fibonacci. It's optional for me because nagbe-base talaga ako sa market structure. Market structure first, and then support and resistance, of course. Support and resistance. And then, optional sa akin yung confirmation candle, yung mag-aantay ako ng confirmation candle. And yeah, for the exit, for SL and TP level, nagbe-base pa rin ako sa structure. So, almost naked chart yung ginagawa kong analysis, yung strategy ko. Ayan. Thank you, Sir James. Thank you for that question. Ayun, may question pa ba? Feel free to unmute or type in sa chat box. Yun, mga ilang backtest po ginagawa nyo bago kayo mag-forward test? Kasi iba-iba yung mga mentors. Ayan, thank you for that question, Wendell. Ilang backtest? So for me, 100 and above. Minimum 100. And ang requirement ko lang ay sa risk to reward, at least 1:1. And then win rate, 55% and up. Bakit 1:1, 55%? Kasi kung titignan natin, no, 55% win rate. Out of 100, 55 win and 45 losses. So kung naka 1:1 at 1% risk per trade, ilan yon? So 55 minus 45 is 10. At 1%, that's 10% gain. So for me, yun yung minimum. Pero mas maganda pag mas mataas yung win rate and mas mataas yung risk to reward ratio. I hope nasagot yung answer mo dito, Wendell. Salamat sa question. Ayan, may questions pa kayo, guys? Regarding po sa FIB, paano po ang correct plotting? Example, D1 time frame. Ayan, si Nero Corpus. Sir Nero Corpus, thank you for that question. So, FIB, mag-share na lang ako ng chart. Okay lang ba? Stop share ko lang to. And para ma-demo natin. Right, hold on. So let me share my chart. Mhm. Alright, ayan. Kita na yung screen. Ayan, paano pinaplot yung fib sa daily time frame? Alright. So we have here yung chart ng GBP USD. Paano paano pinaplot? So we have here a downtrend market. And then, nandito tayo sa daily time frame. And yung pagpa-plot ko dito sa fib ay this is a downtrend market. Pag downtrend, start tayo sa swing high to swing low. Ayan. Ayan. And then, kung titignan natin yung last leg here, and in-start natin siya dito from yung swing high to swing low. Asan yung low natin? This one. Ito. Tinanggal ko sa setting actually. Pwede siyang ma-modify. In-uncheck ko lang yung 0 and 23.6 and 1. Yan, tinanggal ko lang sila. Kasi ang important lang for me, ang gusto ko lang makita, itong 80%, 50 and 61. Kasi usually, ito lang talaga yung binabantayan ko dito. Yung golden ratio, 50 to 61. Kasi dyan yung aking entry. Ayun. Sa uptrend market naman, similar lang din. Hanap tayo ng uptrend. Ayan. For example, ito, yung swing natin. Sa uptrend market, from swing low to swing high naman. Baliktad lang. For example, ito lang yung ipipid natin na itong leg na to. So, from swing low to swing high. Ayan. Pero ito, sa case na to, hindi na siya bumalik. Hindi na siya nag-retrace or nag-pull back here. Ayun. So, I hope nasagot yung tanong ni Sir Nero. Ayan. Thank you. How to easily identify wave counts sa Elliott wave? Ayan. Hello, Sir Nero. Actually, hindi ako gumagamit ng Elliott wave. Hindi ko siya ina-apply sa sarili kong trading. So, ito yung aking actual na chart. Ganito lang ako gumamit. And minsan, optional sa akin. Optional, very optional yung feed. So, purely support and resistance lang din ako. Thank you, Sir Nero. I see pa na you are trading Forex. May forecast po ba kayo for remaining days about the US dollar? I am only trading major pairs. Alright, sige. So, bullish pa rin talaga ako sa Dixie. Pero medyo careful lang tayo pagdating dito, no? So, starting January this year, no, tuloy-tuloy yung pagtaas ng DXY or yung Dollar Currency Index, no? Kung makikita natin dito sa structure, meron talaga tayong series ng higher high and higher low. Pero pagdating sa area na to, nagkaroon siya ng double top pattern. And kung ginamitan natin siya ng trend line, meron pa akong naiwang trend line here. Nagkaroon na tayo ng trend line break. Binalikan lang ng price yung key level na to, which is a strong key level kasi previously support, resistance, resistance siya. Binalikan lang and then ni-retest twice. And kung mapapansin natin, anong chart pattern to? This is a double bottom. Nag-consolidate lang siya ng ilang days here and then nagkaroon ulit ng breakout and then dito sana yung magandang entry, no? Kung yung tinitrade natin ay consolidating and then break and retest yung inaantay natin. So for DXY, ang view ko dito is bullish pa rin siya, pero medyo maging cautious lang din tayo kasi kung titingnan natin itong level na to, this is a strong resistance. Punta tayo sa weekly. Ayan, di ba? Weekly key level siya. Possible na mag-bounce from this key level, yung price, bumalik dito sa key level na to before siya mag-continue pataas. So, yun yung view ko this week sa DXY. So, para sa mga major currency pair, kung babalik dito sa key level na to, sa daily key level ko na to yung DXY, dito na lang ako mag-aabang ng entry ko sa major pairs. Ang expectation ko kasi dito, magbabounce siya pataas. So, conversely, para dun sa mga major currency pairs, mag-aabang ako ng sell. Ayun. Ayan. Thank you sa question, Wendell. Ayan, may questions pa? Ayun, I guess wala nang questions yung ating mga uh, attendees. Ayan, thank you so much. You're welcome. Ayan. Pasuyo na rin sa ating mga participants. Meron tayo ditong survey link. Pasuyo na rin. Salamat. US yield, 10-year po or 2 years? US 10-year. Let me check. US 10-year. Ayan, sa US 10-year yield, tingnan natin yung weekly. Mukhang konso lang yung tingin ko dito for now. Sa weekly, baba tayo sa daily. Pero sa daily, no, mukhang paunti-unti siyang umaangat. Kasi kung makikita natin sa structure, pwede ganito lang din ako mag-check ng chart, no? Tinitignan ko lang din yung structure nito. Ano ba yung na-perform niya? So, trend. But, hindi pa siya, for me, hindi ko pa siya masasabing uptrend talaga. Ah, gusto kong makakita muna ng breakout nitong key level na to. So, di ba, previously resistance siya? Ayan, para masabi ko or ma-confirm sa akin na uptrend siya, ang gusto kong makita ay magkaroon muna ng breakout and then retest. So kung makakita ng candle na lalagpasan tong key level na to, which is possible mangyari kasi ang laki ng candle na to, no, daily candle, very bullish. Gusto kong makita ng breakout and then retest. Yan. So, ito yung next key level ko for US 10-year. Yeah, this one. Ayan. Yes, S&P, tuloy-tuloy po kaya ang correction nito. Let me see SPX. Ayun, S&P, wala pa siyang pullback, kaya ang bullish pa rin naman ako sa S&P 500, pero sa ngayon neutral ako dahil wala pa siyang pullback. Dito ko lang siya inaabangan sa key level na to and potential na balikan din niya muna itong level na to bago siya mag-bounce. Ayan, and meron din tayo here. Pero for me, minor yan. Mas gusto ko dito sa key level na to kasi mas maraming touches. For me, strong key level siya. Ayun. I hope nasagot, Sir Nero. Ayun, may questions pa? Marami pa tayong time for Q&A. Ayan, you're welcome. Ayan, may questions pa ba tayo before tayo mag-wrap up? May hahabol pa ba? Ayun, last 100. Spread. Last 100, mukhang nagko-consolidate ka, uptrend, yes, generally uptrend. Pero gusto ko lang kasi nasa daily key level. So, paano pala ako nag-trade or anong time frame lang pala yung important for me? Daily key level, yan yung aking, paano ko tinitignan yung market direction. Nasa daily time frame ko. And then, dun din ako naghahanap ng support and resistance. And yung lower time frame ko is H1. So, multi-time frame analysis tayo. Dito sa NAS 100, yeah, magulo. Magulo yung charts. Pero mukhang conso dito sa taas. So, for me, hindi pa siya clear. Pero generally, uptrend. Na very bullish dito sa leg na to. And possible na mag-retrace siya sa dalawang key level. So, nakikita ko lang dito, pwede siyang mag-bounce dyan or pwede siyang mag-retrace up until this level, daily key level, bago siya tumuloy pataas. Ayan, bullish pa rin yung view ko dyan. Ayan, thank you, Sir Nero. Thank you sa question. May pahabol pa bang question? Alright, I guess that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for attending this session. And I hope meron tayong natutunan sa session. Yes, Sir Nero, let's go. Ano yung last question? Termicon na index, anong particular na index? Hindi ako nag-check ng mga stocks and sa Forex talaga yung minomonitor ko na asset. Ayan. Okay, sige, let's check that. Oh, very bullish. Okay. Really? Okay. For me, ito yung nakikita ko mga key level. Yeah. Possible. Pero mukhang nire-retest niya itong key level na to, pero generally uptrend pa rin siya. Kasi ito yung mga swings na visible para sa akin. Ayan. So, nandito siya ngayon and dalawa yung pwede nating antayin dito, no? Pwedeng mag-retest niya lang itong key level na to and dumiretso siya pataas. Ang ganda rin ng wave, no? Itong wave. Parang series lang siya ng higher high and higher lows. And then, pwede rin niyang magkaroon ng breakdown dito. And then, kung nagka-counter trend, no, pwede nating i-target itong next key level. Pero ako personally, trending market lang yung tinitrade ko. Hindi ako, ina-avoid ko yung mga counter trend. Although meron naman talagang opportunity. Ayun. Oh, sorry. Let me share my screen. So, ayan. Ayan. Thank you. Ayan, di kita screen. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for that. Alright. So, ito yung semiconductor na SOXX. So, for me, ito yung na-mention ko kanina. Ito yung na-spot ko na support and resistance. Series lang siya ng higher highs and higher lows. Ang ganda nung structure. Pero leaning towards bullish na tayo, of course, kasi hindi naman sa structure. Antay na lang tayo dito ng confirmation candle. And ang safe na TP is dito lang sa level na to, pero pwede rin nating hanapan pa ng key level para sa next target. And yung na-mention ko kaninang counter trend trade, pwede siyang kasing i-break, mag-breakdown here and then retest. So yun yung signal natin or sign natin na pwede tayong mag-enter ng sell bot medyo risky yun. Risky yun for me yung counter trending. So mas gusto nating i-trade yung trending market. Ayun, I hope nasagot yung question ni Sir Nero. Okay, next. 10-year driver for gold if applicable. 10-year yield. Ayun, hindi ako ganun ka ano sa 10-year yield kung driver ba siya for gold. Kasi hindi rin ako nagtitrade talaga ng commodities right now. Andun tayo nakafocus sa major currency pair. Yes. Hello, Sir Miguel. May question tayo, Sir Miguel. Ayan. May questions pa tayo before tayo mag-wrap up?
Good afternoon po, Miss Madrilejos.
Yes, hello. Good
Ah,
afternoon.
mm, hihiling lang po sana ng quick photo op before pa mag-wrap up.
Sure, sure. All right, let's go. And thank you so much sa lahat ng nag-ask. No, na-appreciate ko yung inyong presence and participation sa webinar na to. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sir James.